It's Dan here, and if you give me 5 to 10 minutes of your time, I'm going to show you how I, as an average guy, I'm able to sleep with beautiful, attractive, stunning girls every single week of the month without spending hours cold approaching and getting numbers that go nowhere, or spending hours and a bunch of money on dating apps to get matches that just ghost you, or doing all the gimmicky stuff that guys do, which is buying VIP tables in nightclubs or whatever the fuck people do these days. Now, you're probably watching this video because you want to improve your dating life, and maybe you're already getting some results, but you want to be more consistent and you don't want dating to feel like a chore and like you're spending a bunch of hours and money. Or you're probably starting from the very beginning and you're trying to figure out this whole dating thing with girls, because let's be honest, it is quite difficult out there, especially if you're just a normal dude like myself. And until I discovered the stuff that I'm about to teach you guys, it can be very, very hard and you can basically feel quite hopeless. But without talking too much, let's get into the proof and show you the results that I'm actually getting right now. So in here in the screen, you can see these are some of my recent successes. The first one is actually a girl that I met in central London, and I got her number and then we texted and I set up the date a few days later and ended up going on a date. And you can see on the third picture here, we're back at my place, and obviously the last picture you can see beautiful things happened and we had a lot of fun. The week before, I met this beautiful Ukrainian girl who ended up obviously going on a date with. You can see the text game here. This is actually after we had slept together. And then the third picture is us, basically her on my bed in my apartment. And then the next morning, her in her underwear cutting around in my beautiful place. And then the week before that, I met this beautiful girl that I still see now. I mean, all of these girls I still see. And this is another thing that we will touch on, which is what basically allows you to build an abundance of women around you. But I met this girl actually through Instagram, and we ended up, going to the gym together and just really kind of spending a lot of time together. And obviously, she's back to my place with a dress on. That was actually in the first few days that we have met. And actually the last picture is her with obviously me and another girl that we pulled together. So these girls actually help you sleep with other girls. And again, I'm going to show you exactly how I'm able to do this and get this type of result. And obviously the last one, which is the week before that, is a girl I actually met in a park. And then after a few days, we ended up going on a date, and that is the aftermath. So this is essentially me showing you that, look, I'm not full of shit. And if you want to see the deeper breakdowns of these, they're all in my YouTube channel. I post videos going in depth on what happened, how did it go, and what I did to get this result. But this is to show you that I'm not just lying. I actually have proof. I'm probably the only guy in this game actually showing proof behind what I'm talking about. And essentially, I want to give you the plan here. I want to give you the source so that you guys can replicate this stuff, because I'm just an average guy and this is not average result. I might be an average looking guy. I don't have anything particularly crazy going on about myself. I don't look particularly good, but I get definitely more than average results. And before I go into the system, I just want to give you a quick background as to myself and who I was. And I wasn't really good with girls. I actually got into this because I wanted to get better with girls, because it really affected me. I was like, these guys are getting girls, but I'm not. What are they doing right? And then after so many months and years of trial and error, I came up with a system that today is the only thing that I use to get laid. Right? And the good thing is that it's a repeatable system. You guys can take the information that I'm about to share with you, and you can replicate that in your own life. And the good thing is, well, if I've done it, you can do it too, because I'm not special, right? And this is the Ferrari method. This is the stuff that really allows me to meet girls effectively, efficiently, without spending a bunch of money on dating apps or doing hours of cold approach, then getting numbers that go nowhere. This is the stuff that allows me to date girls week in, week out that are super attractive wherever I am in the world easily. It's on autopilot, right? It's just like, it's super fucking easy, okay? And the first step of the Ferrari method is called engage. Okay, this is basically, it's like a business funnel, right? If you're into business, you will understand that there is a funnel for everything. You have lead generation, you have nurturing, and you have closing, right? Which is closing the client into buying whatever you're selling them. Dating is not any different, okay? So my first step in my system in the Ferrari method is called engage. This is where we get girls into our funnel. This is getting the phone numbers, the Instagrams, being in front of girls, meeting those girls. And look, I'm not romantically attached to any specific type of lead generation. It could be dating apps, it could be cold approach, it could be night game, right? Meeting girls in the nighttime. It could be social media. It could be getting introduced by, in your social circle and into hot, attractive girls. It could be social running clubs, any social, club or whatever you want to call it, an event. Like, I want to be a well-rounded man. If I think about dating, I want to think about James Bond, right? It's as cliche and corny as that sounds. James Bond meets girls whenever he wants and whenever there is girls. Like, he's not waiting, I just meet girls on dating apps, or I just meet girls, doing cold approach. You can meet girls anywhere, anyhow, anyway. Okay, if there is a guy, and this is the thing that so many guys that teach, like these gurus, coaching, dating gurus say is like, you should only do dating apps, so you should only do, bro, I will do anything that gets me the girls that I want. If the girls tomorrow that I want start doing Pilates, I will do Pilates because that's where the girls are. It's like business. If your customers are hanging out in a specific place in your city, that's where you want to be, okay? It's basic one-on-one lead generation. Now, so I have different ways of getting girls into my funnel. One of them is cold approach, okay? Now, I don't do the Riz, Meta glasses cold approach that you see on TikTok and, Instagram and all that stuff. That is gimmicky shit, okay? That is not real game. They're just going to a bunch of girls, giving them compliments, asking for their numbers, and then that's it. Like, there is no proof that the date is happening. They never meet these girls again. They never pull these girls. Like, there is no proof of anything happening past that gimmicky approach because you just felt confident. Like, approaching women becomes so fucking easy. If you just spend an hour with me, I will teach you how you can approach literally anybody, right? Literally, and it becomes the easiest thing. The hard thing is to actually approach them and speak to them in a way where they want to see you again. That's the difference, okay? Where they want to see you again, right? Because these girls that are getting approached by these Riz content creators, they don't want to see them again because they're just like, you were funny and you made me laugh, but you were corny and gimmicky, right? So that's not the kind of cold approach that I teach. Okay. Now, another lead generation activity, which is, for example, dating apps, right? Let's say dating apps. Now, dating apps, there is a right way and a wrong way of doing dating apps, right? Optimizing your profile, your text game, making sure that your sub-communication of the profile is right? And you're not disqualifying yourself. That's another form of lead generation. Social clubs, right? You also want to be a guy who's able to attract girls in person. Right? And I do this. That's the James Bond in every single man. Every guy wants to roll up into a place and be like, I can get girls, I can get bitches. Right? And this is something that I'm very big on, like the in-person game, because that's something that you will take with you for the rest of your life, right? Because if you rely on dating apps or you rely on technology, then they get you by the balls. You're literally giving your whole entire bloodline to these dating apps to decide if your bloodline carries on or not, as opposed to you cultivating the skill to be attractive to women. So I'm big on in-person game, but the same way I'm big on using technology. Social media is one of the biggest platforms to generate leads and meet girls and get their phone numbers so they can get them on a date, right? Social media is incredible, and I use social media. I optimize my social media so that it's attractive to women, so that I can DM women if I go to a new city, right? And get dates like this. Okay, right? Social scenarios, social events, right? If you have friends, if you're well connected in a city, if you learn to make connections with people that are influential in your city, you will be put in front of very beautiful women. Okay, right? So that also leads into the getting introduced. If you know influential, cool people that are up to cool things and probably know other cool people, they will know cool girls and attractive girls, and you can get introduced through that way. And because you will learn how to be attractive in person, that's easy done. Okay, so this is the engage phase. Now that you have numbers, now that you have Instagram of girls that are attracted to you to some extent, and that you've kind of created that premise. Now, okay, how do you get the date? How do you take them on a date? How do you see that person again? Okay, and this is where the nurturing system comes into place, right? You need a strong social media. You need to be able to display higher value, okay? And you need a strong text game because you're competing with so many things. To try and get a girl out on a date, she has to put you before any other thing that she has going on in her life. She has to put you before any other guy that's trying to get her on a date as well. You have to understand that it's a competition. You need to optimize for war. Okay, so social media, having a strong social media, you don't need to have a bunch of followers, you don't need to be famous, you don't need to fucking be an influencer to have a strong social media. It's very, very fucking simple, okay? I teach all this inside the TFM system, but I'm giving you the source here for fucking free, all right? It's very fucking simple to get a fucking strong social media. And the text game, once you understand my structure, my blueprint for texting girls, you will never ever be ghosted for the rest of your life, right? Every single number that you get, I can guarantee that 99% of the numbers that you get, if you run the text game that I run, right, you use my strategy for texting women, you will land 99% of dates from the numbers that you get. Okay, this is how I'm able to fucking get these dates. Okay, there is a structure that you need. Most guys just go lucky, just like, you know what, I'm just gonna text whatever, and then they wonder why the girls are not fucking replying. Right? You don't know what the fuck you're doing. There is a science. Women can only send you actually 4 types of messages. Well, first one is silence. The other one is shit testing you. The next one is logical, and the other one is positive. Right? These are the only types of messages women will send you. And once you understand how to reply to each of these messages, all the conversations that you will have will always end up in a date because you know exactly where the girl is at in the funnel, and you know what to do and what to say. Again, guys, it's very similar to business, okay? Now, once you get the date and you run the text game, right, as I teach it and as I do it, and you get the date, now it's time to position yourself to actually close the deal, okay? This is where you basically stack all the odds in your favor to make sure that you and the girl go home together, basically, okay? And there is a few ways to actually run dates, right? First of all, there is a structure that you follow for every single date, but there is different ways that you can meet girls, right? You obviously have the one-on-one date, right, which is a casual drink. I always call it a casual drink, and then you end up going on a adventure, right? And you have the container event, which is something that is either organized by someone else or is organized by you, where you get a bunch of girls together and you just pick and choose which one you like to take home that night, okay? And that makes it easy because you have all these girls fighting for your attention, right? And a lot of you guys are listening to me right now, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is crazy. This is impossible. It fucking is. I'm the proof of it. I'm the living fucking proof of it. Watch my YouTube, watch all the proof. It's real. The other way that you can get girls to come on a date is by inviting them to an event or a social situation where you are in high value. Okay, I'm aware that it's a little bit more advanced and most people have never heard of this kind of stuff. Or you can invite them to do a cool activity, which again kind of links back to the container event. Okay, it's very similar. It's all designed to kind of put you in a pedestal and women chasing you. But the one-on-one casual date drink is my favorite because it's just me and the girl, and that's it. I don't have to, do anything else. And once you run through the steps for the date, you are guaranteed that the date is going to go well, okay? There is a few steps. I can't give it all in here. I'll show you exactly where you can find it, but I can't put it on YouTube because it's a little bit too explicit. But there is a specific format that you can follow on the dates, right? And typically, I'll give you a rundown right now, is at the beginning, you want to be interesting and interested, right? This is where you gather the information about what the girl is about, who she is, what's her story, and you share the same about yourself. And that is typically in, a bar or whatever it is. And then you go to the second venue, right? A second venue is obligatory because when you move places, it feels like time is going by much quicker. And that essentially builds trust and comfort, right? And now you're at the second venue. What do you do in the second venue? You start to get a little bit spicy, a little bit teasy. You talk about things like, does she have any tattoos? What's her experience in dating? What kind of guys is she into? You start speaking about your experiences. You start talking about what you like into women. You start to talk about the crazy experiences that you've had in your dating life. You start to kind of sexualize a little bit the whole conversation and the whole date. Physically, you also start to escalate physically in a very smooth way that feels natural without her feeling like, oh shit, you know, getting fucking freaked out. And you also escalate physically where the girl is also escalating on you, right? That's another advanced thing where you allow her to start to escalate, put hands on you, right? That intimacy, that kind of complicity, right? And then obviously what we all want, which is the close, okay? This is taking the girl home with you. And the first thing you want to do is isolate. A lot of guys start kissing girls and start doing all these physical things in public. And one thing you want to understand, that girls don't want to be seen doing something physical with a guy in public. They want intimacy. They want to be able to do things in the bedroom behind closed doors. This is why you need to isolate, because if she feels more comfortable to let go and drop her guard down. So you isolate, and this is how you put when you actually pull her back to your place. And there is a specific formula to get the girl from the date at the bar to your place, right? This is the closing sequence. And again, I'm giving you the overall overview here, guys. All this stuff is, you know, I go into much more detail with my students, but I'm giving you the overall idea here. And this is, when you do the closing sequence, she is on board with coming back to your place. You know, she's actually the one kind of suggesting it when you do when you execute the closing sequence that I teach. And now all of a sudden she's in your house, you're together, she's isolated, and now you can escalate, right? Things escalate, and obviously you calibrate. Every time you're escalating, you're calibrating, you're seeing, you know, how her response is. And this essentially is you closing the deal, okay? And then after that, what happens? Well, the next step is the pleasure bubble. How do you keep the girl coming back? How do you keep the girl in love? Well, how do you make her fall in love with you in the first place and keep her in love, right? How do you make her forget about all and every single guy in her phone, in her life, and only be devoted to you? Well, this is the pleasure bubble. Positive experience maxing, like the cool kids say these days. They love maxing stuff, okay? Now, you might be thinking, hey, dude, this is not for me. I've tried all these things and I got no result, or I got the same result. Well, you haven't tried this. You haven't tried this for a fact, because this works incredibly well, right? And you can see it for myself. You can see it in my YouTube channel, in all the videos, in all the hot seats breakdowns that I do, in all the lay breakdowns and success stories breakdowns that I do. You can see that this shit works, okay? So you haven't tried what I teach. You have tried some gimmicky stuff that other gurus pretend to be good with women teach, right? Because this is a structured system. This works. Okay, because it's not just, a lot of guys will teach you cold approach, but they will never teach you how to actually speak to women in a way that makes them attracted to you. Right? They will never teach you things that are based on female psychology. They will teach you gimmicky, oh, walk up to her and smile and make her tease and nag her and, you know, make her feel worthless and all that shit. And she will all of a sudden, bro, that's not how game works. Game is fun for you and for the girl, right? They're teaching you just one aspect and they're teaching it wrong. Cold approach is just one tiny little thing in this whole fucking system that once you understand, you become a dominator in fucking modern dating, right? And I will single-heartedly say that I am one of the dominating average guy in the dating scene right now. Right? No other guy who looks like me, who has the same credentials as me or demographic as me, gets this kind of fucking result. Nobody. Because they're gimmicks. They're like, oh, I'm going to optimize my dating profile, and that's all they do. Right? They have no nurturing system, they have no positioning system, they have no closing system, they have no retention system, no pleasure bubble to keep the girl into. Right? None of it. So you haven't done the stuff that I teach. This is why you're not getting the results that you want, right? You say, I'm not good looking. Again, have you seen me? Right? Like, hello. Like my hair is balding, you know? My hair is a mess. I don't look particularly good looking. So, and I still get laid. So that's obviously not an excuse. It takes too much time. Well, it will take you to learn. That's for sure. Like anything that you learn, like any new skill, it will take a little bit of time to learn, and you will learn it quicker if you learn from people who have done it, right? If you want to work with me, that will get you quicker there. But you can also learn it by yourself because I'm giving you everything, right? I'm going to show you exactly where you can actually learn this stuff without paying any money, without needing me, without any of this stuff, right? But obviously you will have to actually want to learn. The same way I've learned this stuff, it took me a bit of time to get to this point. But, you know, once you learn this stuff, now my life is on autopilot. My dating life is on autopilot. I can get laid anywhere I want, whenever I want, predictably, guaranteed. Guaranteed. The other thing that that guys say is, I don't live alone, I live with my parents, I live with my mom, whatever it is. Dude, I lived for a very long time in my parents' house and I still pulled girls, right? Now, there is a way. You're not going to pull in your house. You can if there is nobody, but there is other ways that you can still get laid without having to take them back to your place, okay? Without taking them back to your parents' house. You don't have to live by yourself. Obviously, it helps if you have good logistics, but you can still make it happen. And this is where I go into much more detail in the actual system, which, again, I will show you where to get access to it for free, but it's definitely doable. Another thing is I live in a small town. Okay, this is probably actually the biggest advantage, because if you live in a small town, that means you have less competition and that means it's easier to get around, okay? I got the best result that I could imagine in a small town. Right? Because a big town, girls are busy. You're competing with, you know, other high-earning, high-profile people, right? So there is more competition, and you have to really be on it. But it's definitely doable in a small town, actually more in a small town than in a big city, I would say. So it's definitely not a disadvantage. I don't have any friends. You don't need friends to fuck girls, bro. Like, she's not gonna fuck your friend, she's gonna fuck you. So that means nothing. And plus, when you learn the stuff that I teach, you will become such a so confident in yourself, and you'll develop your character so much that people would want to be friends with you. You actually have more friends with girls who will, funny enough, help you to get laid, because they will become your wing girls. So not having friends is not an issue. And you don't want to be rejected, right? That's another limiting belief that guys say, oh, I don't want to get rejected. Well, bro, rejection is part of life. I still get rejected despite getting all the crazy results. And because rejection is not personal, I don't take rejection personal. People are just, some people have their own lives. They might not be interested because they have problems going on in their life. They might not be interested because they just have a bad experience with men. They might not be interested because they're going through a breakup. They might not be interested because you're just not their type. So what? You're going to let that fucking literally cut your whole bloodline, right? Stop your whole bloodline because some girl said no? Who gives a fuck? You can bang 10,000 other chicks, bro, right? Like, hundreds of girls say yes to me and a handful say no. Do I give a fuck? No. Maybe she had a bad day. Who gives a fuck, right? So everybody gets rejected. It's part of being a man, right? It's not rejection, right? I don't consider it rejection. Is she's just not into it right now. Fuck it. And so many girls, bro, that's actually fucking real. I've approached so many girls that were not interested. And then once I've implemented the stuff that I'm teaching now, it just skyrocketed my value in their eyes, and they ended up wanting to sleep with me. It's a fucking joke. It's actually a fucking joke. So all these limiting beliefs that you have, they're just limiting beliefs. They're not fucking true. So, all right, I'm gonna wrap up this video, guys. If you actually want to get results quickly, okay, if you actually want someone to help you, take you by the hand, if you want my help to take you to the next level, there's only limited seats, okay? I can't work with a lot of guys, I can't work with a lot of people. I only have about 5 to 10 spots per month that I can get people in to help. You can check out the link in the bio, the first link. You can apply to see if you're a right fit to work together. Otherwise, if you're not able to do this and you still want to improve, I have created a free community with free information, with free courses, with free guides that basically teaches you this system. Okay, the system that I have just broken down for you guys is basically being taught in my community for free. Okay, and not only this, if you're one of those guys who are like, I don't have friends or I don't have any guys that are interested in leveling up with girls. Well, people in the community will definitely be living in your city, so you can connect with these guys as well and go out together and apply the stuff that you learn. You literally get access to everything that I teach in the system in greater detail. There is so much detail I can go into in this video, just to give you an overview on how I'm able to basically get this result. But everything that I know, everything that gets me this result is in that community. Now, if you want to go faster, okay, if you want to go faster and you actually want to get results quickly without going through the learning curve and, increasing your time to result, you can work with me one-on-one. Again, it's a limited spot. You can check the link. You can apply in the first link. Otherwise, if you want to get access to the free information and get access to the community, it's completely free. It's the second link in the bio. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. I will drop more sauce for you guys. And I hope you get fucking laid as much as possible this week and the next week and the week after. That's my closing. That's my closing, bro. I've spoken too much. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.